Hello, my name is Scott Matthews. I'm an occupational therapist and the executive director and founder of Intensive Therapeutics, a non-profit 501c3 organization that provides OT, PT, and speech therapy services to children, teens, and young adults with various disabilities. This video is one segment from our presentation at the American Academy for Cerebral Palsy and Developmental Medicine held in October 2025 in New Orleans. Before we begin, I would like to acknowledge the other contributors to this entire presentation. First, our friends and collaborators from Neurotech R3, Mi Erickson, CEO, and Dr. Cho, Chief Science Officer. Without their efforts, we would not be presenting this information to you today. Secondly, our family living with cerebral palsy who graciously offered their time and their story to this presentation, Karina Michelson and her daughter Olivia. Their segment of the presentation will be coming out shortly in a separate video. Thank you so much and enjoy the presentation. In this segment, I will discuss in detail the collaborative, group-based intensive program for children with cerebral palsy that we have been running each summer for the last 20 years.
One of our programs, is which we're going to talk about today, is called Camp Helping Hands. Each summer we run 2 4-week sessions with approximately 40 children with CP per camp. All in all, we see about 100 children per year of various ages in the Helping Hands program. During the summer, we call it a camp because it's for kids, and it is the summertime. So we've been running it for about 20 years. And what is it? It's a collaborative, group-based, therapeutic, intensive program for children, teens, and young adults with cerebral palsy. It's collaborative because OT, PT, and speech push in to the child's group. We work together, we collaborate on goals, which are individualized, functional, and goal-directed within individualized within the small groups. These summer programs are 4 weeks in length, 5 days a week, 6 hours a day. So we have a big window of time to work on all goals and accomplish amazing things. Who are these kids? Who are the children? Who are the campers? Roughly just ages 3 to 21 years old. To be clear, the 3-year-olds are not doing a 6-hour day. They usually do about 3 hours, but usually about 4 years old is when kids can start tolerating the full 6-hour day. And they align mostly in the in these classification systems: gross motor functioning levels 1 through 4, manual ability classification levels 2 through 4, and communication function classification system 1 and 2. As therapists, though, it's our job to make sure the program fits the needs of the kids, so we're not by any means saying this is who exclusively fits into our program. So, what are the small groups? So 40 children, 10 age groups, roughly 4 to 6 children per group. What does a group accomplish? You can work on social and motor skills, peer interaction, and then probably most importantly, which is what we're trying to integrate into this today, is the impact of cohorting on self-efficacy. Children become friends. There are other people in the world like me. They are not the only ones. Oftentimes at home, at school, they are the only ones. At camp, there are other children that have similar goals, similar desires, similar interests, and then their families share similar stories as well. And so the network of parents that finally gets to know other parents is developed in addition to the wonderful things that kids do. But as Mi is saying, how do we measure that these accomplishments carry over once they return home? How do we measure how children participate at school, in their community, at home? Are they carrying the things that they've learned at camp to their home environment? We started in 2005, and obviously we're 20 years into this. We started with 7 kids. And I think it's time to just do a quick historical timeline here of how Camp Helping Hands came about. As a therapist, the principles of the treatment approach for camp is based strongly in the principles of motor learning and motor control. In 2004, there was a New York Times article that came out that brought constraint-induced movement therapy to the public. Many parents at the time were asking, hey, can you do something like this? The works of Dr. Taub and Wolf from the University of Alabama, Birmingham, the work of Dr. Andrew Gordon out of Columbia, the evidence was out there, right, that this helps people, this helps kids. And in my profession, in all of our professions, there was a call for implementing evidence-based practice. So how can you integrate the research into everyday practice? We created Camp Helping Hands. And again, 2005 was our first camp, and we've had it annually ever since for the next 20 years. It became clear that there was a huge opportunity to provide OT in a different way. In addition, it became clear that intensity does not only necessarily focus on hand function, but the whole person. In the early days, we were pretty much using just the Canadian Occupational Performance Measure as our pre and post camp assessment. We actually, so conducting the interviews, sitting down and talking to parents, talking to children was a huge moment where they contributed to and what their goals, what they wanted their goals to be. Parents know their kids best. Parents know what's important, know what the challenges are. So we asked, right? We talked to parents and we established wonderful goals that we actually work on during the 4-week camp. And so, again, achievable goals. And over time, this lovely person at the end of the table here started thinking of our own goals, right? Before camp even started, right? Oh, I have some things I want to work on, and I'll share with you. I've been working on it, this is what I want to do. And over time, kids get older, and so we grew older with them. And then in 2025, today, it's turned into, again, a small group, but goal-directed training, but in a group setting. As kids got older, demands changed, and we grew along with them. So things have changed a lot over the years. Our collaborators, how does this all work? How does it all go together? We have strong relationships with the local physical medicine and rehab docs, the orthotists, and I think what's really, really, really important is the community connections that we've made in our little town of West Caldwell. The local library lets us use their facilities for meetings. We have parent meetings there. The town pool let us swim in their pool this summer. It was really cool. And then we have a really strong volunteer program, which are usually high school kids or college kids who are applying to become OT/PT or speech students. So they're motivated, they're excited to be there. And then partnerships. We have Neurotech R3, wonderful people. We've worked together. Dr. Cho will explain more of our relationship, but they've listened to what our concerns are, and then we've adjusted and made changes over the last 3 years, and we're super thrilled to be here today to describe that in more detail. We also have numerous contracts, probably over 20 contracts with different universities for their OT/PT and speech programs to do internships, fieldwork experiences, capstone projects, that type of thing. So we're always, it takes a village, right? And this is my attempt at explaining it to you. So what are the core elements? The COPM, as I mentioned before, is an instrumental tool, and again, in work, play, school, and self-care areas, we can start to, again, ask people what do they want to work on. Buttoning buttons, making a ponytail, riding a tricycle. Those are the goals that came out of people's mouths. And can we do that? You can if you practice it enough, if you have an environment where there's enough time to work on these things. Video, we take a lot of video from day 1 to the end of week 4. We want families, we want parents to see the progress. We want to break down how the activities are set up. We want to show them, again, the progress of each goal of their child. So at the end, they'll have a final video and they'll be able to show their schools, their therapists, grandparents. I always pick on the grandparents. To how to carry over what they're doing when they go home, right? That's the challenge that lies before us. How do kids keep the gains once they go home? Similarly, I have parent education meetings every week. Same story, we go over the videos, we want them to see, we exchange ideas. Parents of 2-year-olds have no idea that school stuff starts at 3. We can help them through how to manage the school district, the school system. When they're starting to age out, what happens when they're done with school? All those things across the lifespan of kids is important for the families to hear, see, and it's not just me, it's the parents themselves, are parents of older children, are helping the parents of younger children. So that network, that support is strong. We added the goal attainment scale, which is, again, the therapist inputs for goals, pre and post camp, and then finally the staffing and supervision. The OTs, the PTs, and the speech therapists supervise the whole thing, and then we have the interns who, from, again, different universities, the fieldwork students, are running the groups and helping create the activities, and then the volunteers sort of round out the full staffing picture. So, what is it? We tried with our friends at Moravian University to sort of quantify what it looks like. And so the y-axis on the end there is the percents of time in a cast. The x-axis is number of days, right? So there's 4 weeks, 5 days a week, that's 20 days. So 80% of the time we start with in casts, 20% bimanual or goal-oriented specifically activities, and then cast time decreases while bimanual activity and goal-directed activity increases, and that's sort of the visual representation of how the constraint component, we combine it with the bimanual component and the goal-directed tasks. Goal attainment scale 2022, we had 233 goals for the 49 participants. That's roughly 4.66 goals per camper. Almost 90% of all the goals were achieved, or we surpassed what we anticipated in the beginning. And then the COPAM scores, same time, same camp, the pre and post scores on the COPAM were statistically significant for the parents' perceptions of performance and satisfaction. And so again, we're in the wild. We're doing our best to capture data, and this is our first attempt through the help of another university. Their statistics department was really influential in doing this. So getting us up to why we're here, we took that 2022 data, we did a demonstration poster in 2024 here. Again, we're trying to develop a tool. We did a demonstration poster to figure out what tool would measure participation best. And then we're back here again to deliver some findings that we found for 2025. We're also excited that we have a poster that we're bringing into the speech therapy into this mix. And then we have another poster for the home program that we'll talk about later. So I hope that is a brief description of our program. I hope it makes sense. I'll be happy to talk to anybody.
Thank you for watching our video. You can check out all of the programs and services Intensive Therapeutics offers on our website, intensivetherapeutics.org, or you can visit us on Facebook and Instagram. Or you can give us a call, 973-771-1582. We appreciate all of your support over the last 20 years. Thank you so much.